Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough, and as I stated in my review of the pilot for this series last year, I am going to be reviewing Season 1 of Helluva Boss. So let's recap. This series takes place in Hell and is about a company called Immediate Murder Professionals, or IMP. The company consists of four main characters: Blitz, the boss of the company, Luna, the secretary and Blitz's adopted hellhound daughter, and the married couple employees, Moxie and Millie. Their job entails going up to Earth and killing those who have screwed over their clients and sent them to hell unjustly. They're able to head up because of a dark magic book that Blitz got from a one-night stand with Stolas, a royal owl man. And from there, wacky shenanigans with some foul-mouthed, bloodthirsty demons ensue. After the pilot, there were a few minor changes as they leapt from pilot to series, and most of those changes I thought were for the better. The two biggest changes are some of the voice casting, and the animation and color palettes got an upgrade. The latter is not too surprising since most animations get better once they jump from pilot to series. Most of these upgrades were courtesy of money they got from merchandising that they've consistently put out in between episodes. And I also didn't have much of a problem with the voice actors that they changed. First up there's Stolas, who in the pilot was voiced by Brock Baker, and when it came to the series they replaced him with theater and Broadway actor Bryce Pinkham. Now don't get me wrong, I love Brock Baker as much as the next guy, but I don't know. I've heard his voice so many times that I just can't help but imagine his British voice that he usually does when he played Stolas in the pilot. Bryce Pinkham just brings a certain fop and gusto to the character and really brought something new to him. The only other main voice that got changed was Millie, who in the pilot shared Luna's voice actress Erica Lindbeck, and in the series she is now voiced by Vivian Nixon. Not much of a noticeable change, but when you do compare pilot to series, her voice definitely is a little bit higher in the pilot. With all that out of the way, I'm going to be going episode by episode, talking about each one, and then giving overall thoughts on the season at the end of the review. So let's get started. This is Season 1 of Helluva Boss.
In the afterlife, you could be headed for the serious strife.
I think the best word for this episode is juxtaposition. The beginning of the episode is just so wholesome, but then slowly eases you into the true nature of this series, assuming you didn't already know what it was from the pilot. The IMP gang are hired to kill a woman who got a school teacher sent to hell because she tried to kill her for screwing around with her husband. But the teacher was put on trial for attempted murder and was given the electric chair, while the lady that she tried to kill is regarded as a survivor and a hero. Once the imps get to the home of this woman and her family, Moxie tries to stop the murder attempt, and it turns out that the family are gun-toting psychos and are more than ready to torture and kill them. Of course, they manage to escape, and Moxie unscrews himself by stepping up and killing the mega bitch herself by shooting her in the eye. This episode was good at subverting expectations by revealing that a seemingly sweet lady was actually a total basket case. It's also cool to see the gang on the job. The pilot showed bits and pieces of that, and a few episodes show it as well, but it was nice to see the gang actually put up against a group of people who actually managed to be scarier than literal demon creatures. But the thing I loved the most about this one was Moxie's characterization. It was hinted a bit in the pilot, but it was really fleshed out here. He's not a natural-born killer like Blitz or Millie are, which is exactly why he tries to stop Blitz from killing the woman at first. But when his wife and his boss are in danger, he sacks up and saves the day at the end. He also shows his good nature by giving the remaining family members a second chance, before they're blown up and killed anyway.
We got it, boys.
Still, either way, I like that character growth. To me, the makings of a good first episode, especially when the pilot is already out there for people to view, is to welcome people to the world and the characters without just re-explaining everything, and I think this episode did well. Seeing how the pilot pretty much just exists to set up the characters, this finally took the series forward by showing the gang doing what they do best. For a first episode, this was a pretty good start. Also, the school teacher in this episode is played by Mara Wilson, and she has quite possibly my favorite line in the whole episode.
You do everything right in life, play by all the rules, and still get sent down here with all the Hitlers and Epsteins of the world.
I don't know what it is, something about that line still gets a good laugh out of me.
Now you make the scene all day, but tomorrow they'll be held to pay.
From the pilot and the first episode, I thought that the whole Blitz-Stolas relationship was going to be played mostly for comic relief, if not played as a subplot for the majority of the series. This episode says screw that and makes it a main overarching plot for the whole season, if not the rest of the series as a whole. Picking up from where that left off in the pilot, Stolas' wife is pissed at him and their daughter Octavia is left in the middle of it all, shutting herself off and blocking it out with her headphones. But Stolas wants to make it up to her since they were very close in her youth, portrayed with a beautiful song number that'll just tug at your heartstrings, man. It's really good.
I used to think that I was bold. I used to think love would be fun. Now all my stories have been told, except for one.
So Stolas tries to cheer her up by taking her to a theme park called Loo Loo Land, asking Blitz and his employees to tag along as security detail. At first, anyway, and let's be real, he really just wanted Blitz to tag along as a date. Much to the annoyance of both Blitz and Octavia.
You know, it's quite thrilling to see you on the job, Blitzy.
Save it, bitch, I'm working.
You both need to get a room.
Hey, I am not a day hooker. What, I just said I'm not one, prude.
From there, we get a little bit of backstory with Blitz, that he used to be a circus clown and worked with this robot clown boy called Fizzaroli, who they just happened to come across while at the park. Wait, so Blitz was a clown?
You are a selfish, greedy clown.
How did that kid from the pilot know? And things escalate and they end up trashing the whole place, but really, what makes this episode work so well is the parental plotline between Stolas and his daughter. He really wants to do the right thing, but it's hard considering what landed his family in their current state. While the episode doesn't end on an amazing note, Octavia slowly warms back up to her father, and it's all very touching. There's also a subplot in this episode involving Moxie and Millie wandering the park, and Moxie trying to win Millie a prize at a carnival booth, and the guy running the booth rigged it so that he can't win. And then he even tries moving in on his wife.
That lucky shot, baby. Are you kidding me? You charlatan? Hey, get lost, Pipsqueak. I'm talking to the lady.
Oh, well, looks like Richard Horvitz is trying to muscle in on Richard Horvitz's woman. Wait. This subplot is pretty cute, especially when Millie gets all excited and recounts the time that her and her family were able to go to this place when she was younger.
You really like this place, huh?
I love this place! My parents would bring me and my siblings here when they could swing it, money-wise.
Yeah.
Overall, it's a very charming episode. It has lots of funny moments, some real feels, a very good song, some fun new characters, and a fun new location. I really like this one. This one involves a former girlfriend of Blitz, Verosika Mayday, a famous succubus superstar of sorts. The two exes come to blows as it seems that she stole Blitz's parking spot. So they eventually decide on a bet. Who can work their wicked ways on the mortal world more? So while a bunch of dumb people are partying on spring break, Verosika and her clique try to feed off of their love and passion, while Blitz and the IMP gang try to kill them off. And the team that gets the highest count of whammies are the winner and get the parking space. I love how this whole episode's conflict gets started over a parking space. In other words, it's kind of like that one Brandon Rogers video.
You know what? This is what I think of your parking space. I'm calling the cops.
Oh, good. You mean the only number your phone has?
I just took a photo of your license plate. Your life is ruined.
Yeah, well, I just took a picture of your face, and now my phone is ruined.
Luna tags along because she develops a crush on Verosika's bodyguard hellhound Vortex. From there, we get what I think makes the episode work so well, the character relationships. In this episode specifically, it's the father-daughter relationship between Blitz and Luna. Luna wants to spark a relationship with Vortex, and they seem to get along fine, but Blitz gets overprotective and tries to nip that in the bud as soon as possible.
Am I interrupting something?
Nah, man, just having a conversation.
Conversation leads to HPV.
And you actually see where both sides are coming from. Blitz isn't doing it to be mean, he's doing it because he's just trying to look out for his surrogate daughter. Luna lashes out at him, and both her and Vortex acknowledge that it was wrong for her to be so harsh. Plus, it's kinda cute to see Luna melt a little and be quirky while trying to flirt. Under that teen angst, there is a heart.
I'm Luna.
Okay.
I'm Vortex!
That's hot. I mean, like, literally, you know, because vortexes, you know, they give off heat. Probably, right?
Yeah. I guess.
Another thing I really liked about this episode was the song number they have, Vacay to Bone Town. It's pretty much a parody of modern sex jams, and it's actually really catchy. Let's be real here, the best thing in this episode is Drunk Moxie. A bunch of wasted beachgoers throw him into a cooler, and then he comes out really drunk, and it's the funniest thing ever.
Billy! Hi. Hey, what did you get for heads? I wanna kiss him.
Although, a contender for the funniest part of the episode easily goes to this scene.
Spring break is no place for young, vulnerable goth girls. You know, the kind of freaks up there who drool all over you.
You gotta love when shows can sometimes make fun of themselves and their audience. Similar to the first episode, the gang are called to kill someone. This time, it's an old inventor who was screwed over by his business partner, and apparently he turned into a Brandon Rogers character with a goofy voice.
I am Loopy Goopty, dastardly inventor of all things loopy and loopish.
You could've just used the door, dude. Doesn't need to be this whole thing.
I am eccentric and must therefore do eccentric shit.
Maybe it's because they're all played by Brandon Rogers, but he sounds like a combination of Clifton the Cat and Blah Blah the Clown. But when the gang get up there to pull the old man's plug, they come face to face with what's basically their angelic counterparts from heaven, C.H.E.R.U.B, an organization that tries to convince people to do better with their lives or do the right thing before they die.
C.H.E.R.U.B. No, we never even ask a fee. Because good people spread the love. And we're here for all of us. And we'll keep it work for you. And the heavy lifting too. So sit right back and let us bless our soul for you.
The rest of the episode is both groups trying to convince the old man what he should do. Die and go to hell, or better his ways before he dies and go to heaven. The cherubs try to show him all the good that's in the world, and the imps try to show him all the evil that's out there. All of this builds up to a fight backstage at an opera, and the cherubs end up losing their jobs because they had people killed. Even if it was by accident.
Yeah, no sorry, Cletus, but I'm afraid your actions resulted in the death of a human. I'm afraid you can't re-enter heaven. Yeah, no. What? Yeah, sorry.
Hi, Vivzy Pop in a creator cameo. A lot of people are pretty divided on this episode. Some say that it's pointless and didn't have a lot of plot, but honestly, I think that the episode had the comedy to back it up. Every scenario the characters are placed into is funny and gives for some very creative visuals and costume design. Plus, if you're able to make a joke about cuties and the GNOME meme and not make it seem dated, you did something right. I actually appreciate this episode because it shows that not every episode has to be plot heavy. Sometimes it's just about having fun antics, and it gave me exactly what I wanted out of a show like this. It's also kind of sweet that the inventing duo end up getting back together once the old Robotnik looking dude finally dies and goes to hell. There are so many funny moments in this episode, it's hard for me to say what I think is the funniest moment, though a very easy contender would be this one.
There's literally nothing bad about opera. That's fact.
Oh, and I guess there's also this one.
So why don't you shut your trap, you judgmental cotton candy tit-having bitch?
Millie has breast envy confirmed.
This is a place where eternally fire is applied to the body.
A special event is coming up in the Wrath Ring of Hell, which is portrayed here as a rural countryside area of this world, which may or may not be a reference to the Grapes of Wrath. Stolas has to go and be a presenter, and he invites Blitz and his employees to tag along. Sounds good, since Millie's family lives around there, and they're shown to have, not the best relationship with Moxie.
Greetings, Lynn. Joe? How have you been with all the flaming twisters and stuff around here?
We lost our old farmhand to one of them terrors last week.
Oh, crumbs.
From there, this episode takes what could have easily been a very overused plot with the rival character that goes up against another main character. The character in question is Stryker, played by Norman Reedus. He's a tough, rough, gritty farmhand who's harder, better, faster, stronger than Moxie in every way. And it seems that he wants to take everything away from him. He flirts with his wife, beats him in various competitions, and Blitz even considers hiring him. But this episode takes a huge left turn when it's revealed that he doesn't want to ruin Moxie's life.
Genuine Carmine-crafted blessing-tipped rifle. How in the fuck did he get one of these?
Why don't you ask me, little dude?
Shit! Why do you have this, mister? You are aware this kind of weapon can kill.
Demon royalty.
Yes, that.
No shit.
He's being paid to assassinate Stolas. And from there, the episode has an amazing tense third act where everyone gets to be proactive. Moxie tries to hold his own against Stryker, but fails. Millie sees this and is about ready to kill this guy, but she ends up getting taken down, and they're both locked in the basement. Moxie manages to escape and gets Blitz up to speed, and even Blitz gets to do some awesome fighting. They temporarily stop him and save Stolas from the assassination attempt, but Stryker is still at large. It's revealed that he's being paid to kill Stolas by Stolas' wife!
I failed to kill the target at the festival. But don't worry, ma'am. It won't happen again.
It better not. I want this cheating prick dead. I don't care who you have to go through. Make it happen!
To me, this episode has a ton of good stuff in it. Awesome action, pretty good comedy, some cool new characters. I also liked how it ends. Moxie finally stands up to Millie's parents at the end.
You know, she protected me. And maybe I'm not a strong, beefy dickhead. But Millie has the strength enough for both of us. You two are getting on her case about being hurt by a psychopath you hired? Shame on you.
Wow, he nodded. He's never acknowledged your input before.
So, is that progress?
Oh, beauty, talent, fame, money, refinement, top skill, and brain.
This one brings a new set of villains to the forefront, Dorks, an organization on Earth designed to hunt down demons and other worldly creatures. Two suits from this place capture Blitz and Moxie and interrogate them. From there it becomes a very personal episode where Blitz and Moxie spill out their feelings and have to better their relationship. Honestly, out of all the episodes in the first season, it's episodes like this that I really like. Much like episode 3, it deals with a one-on-one relationship with the characters. There it was with Blitz and Luna, and here it's with Blitz and Moxie, who have not had a very good relationship up until this point. Sure, they try to act like they're on the same page when they're pit against common enemies, but usually they tend to lash out at each other. Moxie obviously thinks that Blitz is a vulgar screw-up who deflects and doesn't really know what he's doing, but for the longest time you think that Blitz just doesn't like Moxie because he's too wimpy or because he tells him that he's doing something wrong. But it turns out that it's actually something more. He's pissed at Moxie for depending too much on his wife instead of being independent. And just like episode 3, I like that they betray both sides as sort of being right. And it makes it all the more sweeter to see them actually reach an impasse with each other near the end. Add to that, I love how the moment of truth is this big, grand spectacle musical number. In the middle of the episode, the dork agents hit them with truth gas, and they begin to hallucinate and see things in different ways with some fantastic animation and designs. Moxie sees everything with what I can only describe as Phantom of the Opera if it was a Disney Renaissance movie from the 90s, while Blitz sees everything as what I can only describe as a sketchbook meets Pink Floyd's The Wall, as well as seeing Moxie in a princess dress. It happens. You can really tell that Richard Horvitz had fun with this because both he and the character of Moxie love opera and classical music, and I can just tell that he had a ball doing this sequence. While all of this is going on, we get a very minor subplot with Millie and Luna sneaking around to try and save them. There's not a whole lot of screen time dedicated to this, but I like their scenes fair enough. It's neat to see them share some interactions together, kick some ass, and have some fun dialogue.
Damn, you're pretty agile for an old lady. I'm like 5 years older than you.
But all of this comes together at the end when our four main characters fight off a bunch of men in black, and it's awesome. You can tell this episode took a lot of time to get right with the animation, and it was worth it. It's so refreshing to see all these guys work together and kick some real ass. Also, I hope you like Nightmare Fuel, because there's a possession scene near the end, and it's spooky and cool all at the same time. And much like the Cherubs, I'm curious to see what they do with these dork characters, since it seems like they're gonna come back in the future. And, by the way, one of the agents is played by Erica Luttrell.
What's the matter, Demon Hunter? Never seen a real demon before.
Sapphire's voice actress.
Yeah, I thought you'd appreciate that one.
But all the things you tried to hide will be revealed on the other side.
Before we even look at the episode itself, I just want to say, I love how this one starts.
That was a fuck ton of lumberjacks.
I'm still so jazzed up.
After an episode where two of the main characters are pit against each other, it's refreshing to see these guys all jazzed up after a hard day of work and all on the same page. This one has a very simple setup. Moxie and Millie's 1-year anniversary is that night, and they're going to a very fancy, expensive club in the Lust Realm, run by the Lord of Lust himself, Asmodeus, who is apparently an item with the real Fizzaroli, not the robot version we saw in episode 2. Well now, looks like Modius from Helltaker has some serious competition. Anyway, the plot gets going as Blitz basically stalks the two of them, because if it wasn't made clear already, Blitz has a power fantasy where he has a three-way with his employees.
ever pull a stunt like this again, I will fuck you and your wife.
Alrighty! Oh, Blitz, you're such a good boss. Yeah, I really want you, sir. Me too. Let's three-way.
Where are you calling from? Mm-hmm.
But he can't get into the club without a date, so he calls up Stolas, who has nothing going on but sadly watching soap operas and eating ice cream, and he jumps at the chance to have a date with Blitz. Once they arrive there, it gets really awkward. Verosika is there and notices Blitz at the club with Stolas, Vizzaroli notices them, and things start to escalate. Meanwhile, Moxie sings a song to Millie, which is sweet, but then it gets cut off by Asmodeus, who doesn't take too kindly to all the emotion and affection, because this is the lust realm, and to them, it's all about screwing and nothing else. By the end of the episode, Stolas and Blitz leave embarrassed, and Moxie and Millie get thrown out for daring to show love in the lust realm. But the strongest part of the episode is how it ends. Stolas invites Blitz to spend the night with him, but Blitz cuts it off early and bails. He heads back home, sad and alone, and looks at how miserable his situation is. His employees have a loving relationship, his daughter is out with friends, he has so many people angry at him that he once used to care for, and he's too stubborn and scared to move forward with a proper relationship. In a lot of ways, it kind of reminds me of the bittersweet ending from autoerotic assimilation from Rick and Morty. While everyone else's life starts looking up, we end with one of our main characters miserable because they feel like they can't help themselves or make a proper change. This is where you genuinely start to feel for Blitz. Yeah, he can be a funny character, and other times he can be a real asshole, but here you genuinely feel like he has some good things going on in his life, and he just doesn't know how to make things better or make things right. Overall, I really enjoyed this season and how it played out. But wait, last time you said that this was an 8-episode season. Why are you stopping on episode 7? Oh yeah, let's address this. The original plan for the season was to have an 8-episode run. While most of the season did go through in 2021, the 8th episode was taking a little bit longer than usual, and most people, myself included, were willing to chalk it up that it was probably taking a while since it was a finale and was probably going to be longer than most of the episodes. But just a month or so ago, a letter was put out on social media letting people know that the 8th episode cannot be released. At least not at this moment. A lot of speculation went into this, and there are already plenty of videos that go into various theories as to why this happened. The two most common theories that I've seen both lean towards copyright. Some say that it was because of cameos from Has-Been Hotel characters, which is a copyright violation from A24, the current rights owners of the Has-Been IP. Others say it was because of a song cover of Die Young by Kesha, the same song that was in one of Vivzi's original viral animations, which is what got it copyright struck. I'm not 120% sure as to what it absolutely was, but the definitive fact is episode 8 hasn't been released yet, but the show seems to be going straight forward into its second season regardless. As much as I would like to see what would happen in episode 8, I actually kind of like the way episode 7 ends off the season. I'm still very curious as to what would have happened in episode 8, but considering how bittersweet episode 7 is, and how it pretty much leads into the next episode, going by the title, listing it as a 2-parter, I'm comfortable with how this season ended at the moment, and I'm genuinely curious to see where it goes in the next season. Despite that minor setback, I really liked how the first season of Helluva Boss went. It's not a show I would recommend to everyone, but I'm personally happy that I saw it. The show's writing is at its strongest when it deals with characters and their interactions. It has some good comedy, especially with the dialogue and physical comedy. In a lot of ways, it feels like this show succeeds in a lot of ways that the mainstream doesn't. You can have unique characters with a fascinating world and continuity, and have genuinely touching and serious moments, along with fun comedy that doesn't rely heavily on pop culture references left and right, or commentary on current events every 5 seconds. You can have female characters who are competent without having to talk down to the audience. You can have representation without making the characters tokens or stereotypes. Like I said, it's not a show for everyone, but as for me, I really liked it, and I'm looking forward to the next season. Well, it seems next time on Media Wiz we'll be looking at...
hold it right there!
Oh great, of course. Here you guys are to wreck the day.
Well, I just know this show is a bunch of satanic, liberal, atheist, Democrat propaganda. I just know it. I've only seen a couple of seconds of it, and I've only seen like 5 people talk about it on Twitter, and I just know it's a bunch of progressive leftist garbage. With lots of demonic characters running around. Literal demon characters. And also, I am still fairly convinced that Vivzi Pop is a racist.
The hell just happened? Well, either way, they're gone, so whatever. Until next time, I'm the Media Wiz, because we're not...
called me a possum. I am not a possum.